À l'agent de voyage Tempo Afrique Travel. Avec l'agent de voyage Tempo Afrique Travel, pas de problème de connexion, pas de problème de transfert de vol. Avec l'agent de voyage Tempo Afrique Travel, c'est le voyage en toute tranquillité, en toute beauté, de votre maison jusqu'à votre destination. Votre satisfaction est notre plaisir.
Welcome to Ali Naimal Talk Show. So today we're just gonna touch on some recaps on some of the crazy things that are going on there in Africa all the time. We know these have been symptomatic, and change. We're not sure how change is going to happen exactly, but it is something that needs to keep being pressed on over and over and over again. And it's just a matter of time. Is when is our people going to wake up and finally react to it? It takes a whole village to save the situation, I would say. So anyway, I'm going to go on to recapping some of the things that I have learned in the recent talk shows with some of the guests that we had on. And honestly, quite frankly, I learned a lot because our mind of what we know as an individual is like a size of a seed. When you pretend this is the whole globe, right? This is the earth, okay? And whenever you zoom out into the galaxy, you no longer see the person, okay? That dot right there, that's the amount of information we know. So imagine all the dots all over the entire globe. How much information are they holding? What do they know, okay? So this is where we humble ourselves. We humble our hearts to know that we don't know everything. We cannot condemn or judge someone of their situations or shut them down to not hear their story or to not hear their point of view. Because whatever it is they're telling you or that you're learning from them, it could really help you a lot in a tomorrow situation or just in general can give you that comfort to know how to walk in life. Okay. And I would say for me, myself, there has been extremely amazing stories that have came onto this show here on Tempo Afrique TV. And I'm pretty sure a lot of you have watched it. If you haven't seen it, please watch them because these stories, if you really tune into it, like you have free time, you have nothing else to do at that moment, and you just focus on what they are saying, it will touch your heart. It will teach you a lot. You'll probably hear things that you never thought really exist in the world, or quite frankly, today, still exist today. So one of the stories we did cover, whenever there's a problem going on in Africa, we don't react to it. We don't react to it quick. So there's a video right now playing, and in this video here, these are the soldiers, okay, in Uganda. This is Uganda. These are the soldiers, and they are harassing Bobby Wine's wife. So that's his wife right there. As you can see, no, this is just extremely shameful. This is a really shameful act. To be honest, when our producer played the video here, I didn't really understand what was going on there, so I didn't really react to it. But the moment he explained to me, I was mind blown away. I mean, look at how they're treating her. She's a lady in general. Even if you hate your enemy in any ways, how do you have the heart to treat a lady that way? Or anybody in general that way? So that bag that was handed to the other police officer, that was the money. We want money. We want money. Give me your money. Okay. These soldiers are harassing a woman because they want her money. Okay. And the way they're harassing her is like they're stripping naked a thief. That's how this humiliation that continue to go on in Africa is really not a fun situation to be in at all. It's really not a fun situation. That's why my people in Africa, it's time to really wake up. We have been in this situation for a very long time. It's time to really wake up. And Bobby Wine, this guy is historical. He is very historical. The move that he is making to come forward to challenge a president that's been in the seat since 1886. That's about how many years? 86, 96, 2006. I know, because sometimes Africa year is a little bit different than the American year. Like Ethiopia is 8 years behind. Um, so that's like more than 30, 35 years, about 35 years that he's been in power. Or a little more than that, I'm not sure. But we don't react. It's because we're immune to it. Whenever something happens in Africa, we watch it, we get shocked for the moment. Tomorrow we forget, we go about our way. Okay? This is a sign of being immune to it and getting used to it, knowing in your mind that, oh, it's not going to change. It's the same old and it's going to continue to happen. So we only look after our own selves to hope and pray that it doesn't happen to us. What happened to one person in that community can happen to somebody else. The action always continue to follow. And for as long as people don't react to it or don't say much, like the example Bobby Wine is showing to us right now, is many politicians will abuse the power because they know you're not going to say anything. You're not going to do anything about it. Okay? So why should I even care to change my behavior, to change the way I lead my country? Okay? The people are giving their power to these politicians, and people need to stop giving their powers, period, to these politicians. Okay? Bobby Wine is your living example there in Uganda. So we're very proud of him for being one of the youngest to actually step up and challenge the president. Whether he won or not, we don't know. We don't know the results yet, but soon after this show is done, we'll figure out more. So hopefully he did win. That would be extremely historical. That would be historical all over Africa if this young man win. Okay. But that's not the end. That's the only beginning. That's the opening door of a new battle. This is a new opportunity for the youth to know that at least you can step forward and challenge the dictator of your country, the corrupt leader of your country. Okay. You can challenge that. You can even try yourself to know that you have the potential to do that. So these are a lot of things that we have been covering in our previous interview with some of the youth that has been speaking. So we got to understand a little bit, what their thoughts are, what they go through, and what they really want for their country to be tomorrow leaders. And quite frankly, with a lot of the stories that has been coming up, is really encouraging a lot of people. I've been getting a lot of messages. I've been getting a lot of comments and response from many youth actually to say, wow, this is very encouraging. Even just as simple as writing the comments or a paragraph of a statement of encouragement, they put that into action, because words in what we tell other people, what we share with other people, can be manifested and brought to life. Okay, words are very powerful. If you encourage someone right now to say, you can do it, get up and try again, that is powerful enough for that person to feel it, to know that this person believes in me, I could do it. And they go on about their business. Once they get into the process, they will realize and understand their potential. Okay, so we have to keep sharing these things, keep encouraging these youth, because it's working in many places. It may not be a whole lot of them, but at least one person, it is enough to share that encouragement to the other person. So that's 2 people, and that person will share it to maybe another person, that's 3 people. The number goes up. It only goes up. It doesn't end from there. So when every door is open, it opens to many, until we all finally see the results and we're all on the same page. So big up to Bobby Wine, and we hope he keep encouraging the youth. He's woke up a lot of youth, and what he is doing, we hope it never stops from there. Even if he lost, we hope he gets back on the game and run again, which is another critical issue in Africa as well, because once these corrupt leaders or dictators take their seats, they sit there for many years, 10 years, 11 years, 100 years, whatever. When they die, they give it to their son. Those are dictator leadership. Okay. So we don't know if this is going to be the only opportunity he will have to run as a president, and his only opportunity for a young person to finally win and lead the country. We don't know. And that's where the critical thinking becomes more deeper and symptomatic, because even if he lost, there may not be another chance for a very long time. Maybe until Museveni is pretty much dead, because he's towards the end of his life, basically. So that's some of the comments I want to mention there. And to get back to one of our interviewer who came onto our live stream earlier in the last couple of months, who crossed Sudan, Egypt, Libya, Mediterranean Sea, all the way to get to Italy. Okay, there's a saying that a journey starts with determination. Now that is determination. You are determined to accomplish something, and that's what this young man did. 42 ways. If you guys remember him, we interviewed him. Now his journey was very significant and very powerful to portray determination. If you are willing to go through the wildest dreams and to walk through the fire and to go through the torture, knowing that in the next hour is not promised or the next day is not promised, that is determination. And not only that, is believe in yourself and trust in God while you're through that journey. Because that journey comes with many different bites and hurdles and things that could take your life in an instant. Okay? So his story is a perfect example to teach anyone what it means to be determined, what it means to start your journey until you have accomplished or reach your final destination. Our second interviewer that we brought on, who also has another amazing story, his name was Windor. So if you haven't watched his story, watch his story. And his story is courage. Okay. The courage that he had to know that he's seen people dying on his right, people dying on his left, but only kept running straight forward. Even though the militaries are coming towards you and they are just shooting their guns to kill anyone in that surrounding area, is the moment you know God is walking with you. Because those guns are pointing at you, but you're still running. You're still running. That bullet maybe was meant for you, but it aimed someone else. Maybe the next one is meant for you, but it fell for someone else. That is courage and faith. The amount of faith he had in his story, okay, was very amazing at that level. He ran and kept running until he found a safe spot. And at that moment, how does a normal person feel, And that's where you realize, no one is after me. I don't see guns anymore. I don't see people dying on my left or my right. I don't see the soldiers. I don't see the enemy. Okay? And then you breathe and you wake up and sink in the reality. And that's not the end of it too. He continued his journey to go to the neighbor country, and as he got to the neighbor country and crossed over, this is where you know that you are safe, that you have passed the hardest revelation of your life. And he burned his passport and stayed there. Now he's going to school, living, trying to accomplish his life. And, he wants to be he believes in education. He wants to be very successful one day. And hopefully his dream is to you know, um, be a big help and a big change for his country as well. So we pray for his journey as well there. The last person we had interview, Guy, his name was Guy. He's also from South Sudan. And this man, as you hear his testimony behind his story, you could tell this is someone who is witnessing the dictatorship that is happening in the group that he is serving already. So when you're a soldier, I can't imagine what orders you have to take from the leader that is a dictator or that is actually hurting your people. Okay. But this guy's story, what made it so different from the rest of the stories is that in his heart, he wants to do good. In his heart, he wants to help people. But the rules and the orders that he has to follow goes against it, goes against everything he wanted to do. Okay. So there are some of those people that their lives are hung on a pedestal. Okay. Just like the hangman is hung on a pedestal where you have no way out completely. And that the only way out is once you make that sacrifice, you come out dead. But at least your soul is free. Okay. So these are some of the most amazing stories that I have shared in the last few months. So, and most of these stories are the conflict that took place in South Sudan with the Civil War and the genocide that took place in 2013, including the massacre that also took place 3 years ago as well. And many people have been scattered. They have been dispersed to the neighbors' country like Sudan, Egypt, Ethiopia, Uganda, and Kenya as well. Even some going as far as to Italy, whatever it takes. And this is something that is happening a lot in many African countries, not just Sudan, South Sudan. South Sudan is just a small part of the story that also reveals a lot of what happens in other countries as well. So now going forward, we're going to continue to cover different testimonies and different stories from different countries. So I'm excited for next week. Our next guest is from a group of nationality or ethnicity called the Darfur. The Darfur people are people of Sudan, but they have been forgotten since the genocide in 2002, which was a while back. And a lot of you guys it probably rings a bell. You probably remember about that genocide, but it was never carried on. We never hear about it or even heard the solution. Come to find out today in 2021, that the massacre is still going on. People are still being killed. They're being hunted down as people move and walk for hours and for days to find safety, sometimes hiding in the mountains or in the river. So this is one of the very interesting topics that I will have on in the next few coming days. And it's from one of the youth who really want to speak out about this. So what amazed me more about it is all of these tragedies and these horrific lifestyle that these people are living in these countries. They're not being told as much. We don't hear about it. So for a lot of us here who are diaspora in the UK, in the United States, in Australia, or other countries where you're living a good life, that's good that you're living a good life, you know. But we don't want to forget that the country we were running away from, that there's still problem there. There's people dying, innocent people dying every day. Okay. And we're not asking people to do a lot, you know, but we're asking people to share these stories, share these testimonies, because those testimonies may wake up some very selfish American person who thinks that taking their video game away is living hell. Simple things like that. It could also teach your children as well to be thankful and grateful for the life they are in, because some people can't even afford a shoe on their foot. Okay? Some people can't afford that. Some children as small as 2 years old or babies goes a day without food. We have to learn to be thankful and grateful for the situations we are in and for whatever we have, and be content with it. Okay? Um, and knowing that if you are able to help, if you are able to support in any way, that will save someone's life, even if it's only one person. That whatever resources or platform we can give that one individual will help their community tomorrow. This is what it means being caring and giving and holding hands with one another. Okay? We can't be ashamed of these things. And I know many Africans in the diaspora world, yes, we may be ashamed of what goes on in our countries every day, and the situation that happens all the time, or sometimes we just don't want to remember it because it's that traumatizing. Okay? But in life, you go through all of that for a reason. And it's best to acknowledge that. And my only reason I could say to a lot of our African people is that acknowledging what's happening in your country does not mean your life will be ruined. It just means that if there's a way you can help, help. Whether it is sharing their stories, whether it is donating, whether it is getting involved with some kind of organization or a community to help these people, you have many options. You can choose. Okay? Or most importantly, is to pray for them. Because God hears the prayer of the righteous. Pray for them. Okay? And even though those people, they have more faith in God than any of us who are caught up in this comfortable world of being a diaspora. Okay? Wherever you go in the world, we cannot forget God. God is always going to be with you wherever you go, because every struggle is different. Even here, for example, in the United States, people are suffering in this country because of a psychological warfare. There's a psychological warfare which is pretty much a war. It's just you don't see bombs, you don't see people being shot, you don't see any of that. Okay? But it's an ideology where this side think they're right, this side think they're right. We all left the middle. Nobody wants to hear neither side of the truth. That is ego. That is ego in this country. And that is dividing the country, is dividing the people, and is creating a greater hate among each other. And that will bring the country down. It really will. So, because as a human being, we all have something that somebody else doesn't know. We all have something that that person doesn't have. Give and take in this world. So we will continue to share these stories. So I am very, very honored to be telling these stories, to be spreading them out to you guys, because I know in my heart, I know I may live in a good place, and I thank God every day for that. But me telling these stories, I believe it's going to help someone. I believe even if it's just at least encouraging them, at least I'm doing something that I can give in whatever way. So hopefully, we wish for the growth for this to continue, and with Temple Africa TV to keep revealing everything that is going on in the African countries and the other third world, including the diaspora as well. So this platform is already doing a major thing, something that has not been done around the world. You watch other African news or other African talk shows, but what makes this one different is that there's real stories, real testimonies. There's real situations going on, and you can actually hear it, not just only from us, but you'll also hear from the people in those countries as well. So that's my message today. Again, thank you for tuning in, and continue to watch as we go forward. This is all just the beginning. Every moment I step into, every step I take is always a new beginning. And that's how we continue to grow and go forward. So stay tuned for our next guest that will be coming on next week from the Darfur region of North Sudan. And have a wonderful night.